Boom. It is episode 43 of Winning with the Home Team, and we have some special stuff we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some scenarios. I'm going to give Katrina some scenarios on how she would handle parenting situations, basically, and we're going to find out what kind of a mom she is today. But before that, we've got soccer that's wrapping up this week.
Yep.
Our last week, and the kids are doing so good. And because of that, we want to make sure that we give them the credit that is due. Our player of the week this week from the first grade Cobras is Shelby Skiles. Shelby, a hard worker, as they all are, but Shelby, a little extra attention this week. She scored a goal. She played great defense. And her coach is super, super proud of her. She was nominated. And Shelby, you are our Lionheart Player of the Week. Brought to you by Lionheart. For over a decade, they've been in business. They're providing Christian-based childcare. They're right here in our midst. Go check them out at lionheartkid.org. They are super, super, as an organization, they'll take care of your kids and do a great job.
Yeah, and this week's Coach of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Irrigation and Lawns, is none other than Vernon Riley. Vernon and his family, there's Vernon, Lacey, and they have 3 kids. Man, they are just so good at just the coaching aspect and loving on kids. Vernon serves because I think I asked him, but it's not just that he serves because I asked him, it's how he serves. He coaches 2 teams. Whenever I ask him, he also refs some a little bit. And when I ask him, it's always, yeah, Katrina, I got you. Yeah, Katrina, I got you. And it's not just his yes, again, but it's how he interacts with his kids. I was talking to 2 or 3 parents that are on his team last night, and they just went on and on and on and on and on about the soccer league. And it's not the soccer league that they need to give credit to, but it's to Vernon, their coach. So, Vernon, good job. You are this week's Coach of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Irrigation and Lawns. Hey, if you're in the DFW area and you have some lawnscaping needs or irrigation needs, contact Derek Hicks at exquisitelawns.com. He does our fields. He does great at them. He's easy to work with, so hit Derek up if you have any landscaping needs.
That is awesome. And by the way, just to piggyback on what you're talking about for our Coach of the Week, this is extra ad for you, Exquisite Lawn Care. We're going to continue the discussion. But Vernon is one of those coaches that could get it every week, and you wouldn't be surprised. He does not take himself serious.
Nope.
He goes out there and loves on those kids and does a great job. And, man, we're blessed to have someone like Vernon.
Yep.
Okay, hot seat time for you. She is only, so I have 10 questions. I don't know that we'll get to 10 questions, but I have, or 10 scenarios. I've only given her like a couple of them just to kind of get her feet wet on what she's about to embark on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to read you at least a few of these scenarios, and we're going to talk about what parents go through, right? In making some of these decisions. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like this is so good because I feel like we, whether our words come across or not this way, but the words that we say sometimes can kind of feel judgy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Very much so.
And that's not really our intent at all. Right. And
I'm glad you said that.
And going through these scenarios, it's just how would we process it? I'm going to go with how I would have processed it initially, and then the thought process that I've had over the course of the past 5 years since Taya has been in sports, and how my viewpoint has changed, or if we get there. So we'll see.
Yeah. And by the way, like I want to make this point because I think it's fair to say that when we're both talking on this podcast, we come at it from our default is biblical, right? Like we try to do things for our families the best that we can from a biblical standpoint. And so when we're going through these scenarios, it's going to be pretty obvious that you will be coming at it from that angle.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what our podcast is about. When we talk about winning with the home team, that's how you start, right? So there will be some of that. But okay, let me give you scenario number 1.
Bring it on.
Okay. You're a parent of a 6-year-old child.
Which I am.
Which you are.
Actually.
She is a soccer player.
Which she is.
and she is heads and shoulders more talented than her teammates. It has been recommended to you that you play her up in an older division. What are your considerations and what do you decide?
So first of all, she is not, I mean, she may be like physically head and shoulders taller than some of the kids in her division right now. But athletically, I don't think, as far as her skill, I don't think that she's heads and, she's better than her peers. So with that said, if she was, if that was the case, would I consider moving her up? So I think it just all depends on the nature of your kid. Like, does your kid really, are they just really out there for fun? Which I think Taya is. I think she's out there for fun.
Yeah.
She is 6 years old. She's about to finish kindergarten. She really is in it for the real chips, if you will.
Okay.
And by real chips, I mean Doritos.
Yeah.
And not the stuff that we eat at home, the healthy stuff. So yeah, what's the reason? Taya is in it just for fun. She's 6 years old. Honestly, I would say any 6-year-old, I would say probably evaluate your reasoning why, or the league's reasoning why they want to bump your kid up to the next level. Now, with that said, Todd, we do have a couple of they may be 6 now, but they are in kindergarten and they're playing up.
Right.
They're in the first grade division.
Right.
And they're doing great.
Yeah.
They're doing great. But I think it just all comes back to the kid. For Taya Parlin, she just wants to have fun. The Turf Smurfs, by the way, have lost every single game. But no one's keeping count. Not their mom or dad.
No.
In any of this.
Yeah.
And she could care less.
Right.
Like, she could care less.
Yeah.
I think what matters most to her is having fun and playing with her little friend, which is Sosetti right now.
And I love the fact that you say it's about the child.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
Because we do see examples,
For sure.
maybe older, where parents are like, hey, my kid's better. He can play up. And you sometimes get them pushed up and now they're not playing with their friends. And we see examples of that too.
Yeah.
So I like that you say it's about the kid.
Yep.
All right. Scenario number 2. You passed that one.
Okay.
All right. You are a parent of a 9-year-old child. So put yourself in that position.
Okay.
He has been playing Little League Baseball, but all of his friends are now playing on a select team. Your son enjoys baseball, but he is more interested in playing with his friends. The cost of joining the team will put your family in a tight spot financially, but he really wants to play with his friends. What do you do?
I mean, we're going to take his friends and we're going to go to the park and we're going to play baseball.
Okay.
All
right.
I mean, if we're not going to dish out.
Yeah.
If he really just wants to play with his friends and baseball is not like a high priority. Did you say that was the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. If baseball is not like something like he is just all in for, I say, hey man, let's go get our friends. Let's go have a play day at the park every Sunday.
Yeah.
And we can accomplish the fact that he wants to play with his friends.
Right.
Especially if it's going to put your family at a financial disadvantage. The kid is 9 years old. Chances are he really does just want to play with his friends.
Yeah.
And we can make that happen without spending thousands of dollars.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I've seen with my youngest son, Sai, he's 14 now, but as he's grown up, we tried to keep him in rec ball as long as possible. And the cool thing is, even now when he is playing on a select team, his friends some of them are from the select team, some of them are from rec ball, some of them don't play sports at all.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see that he still wants to be friends with a whole, eclectic group of kids.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I don't think that you're only going to be friends with the people that play on this team,
right.
So, yeah.
So has Sai surpassed, like he wants to play basketball at a higher level more than he wants to play with his friends?
I think that's a great question. I think that now that he is, I don't know if you graduate junior high, but leaving junior high and going into high school, he recognizes that his friend group is kind of dispersed amongst several different areas. but he knows that, okay, now it's time to enjoy what I'm going to be doing. And so, yeah, basketball is important. Baseball is important to him. So, he's starting to get serious about it. And we brought this up when we talked about, what was it? Not Norway.
It was Norway.
Norway.
Yeah.
They don't really specialize until they get to where they're, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of following that track where he still wants to play basketball, still wants to play baseball, but not just hone in on one thing.
Yeah.
So I think so far it's been okay. Okay. Scenario number 3.
Yep.
You're the parent of the same 9-year-old. Okay. Your child gets in the game sparingly and always hits last in the lineup when he is in the game. You're halfway through the season, and it doesn't appear anything is going to change for the rest of the season. Do you talk to the coach?
9 years old.
9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah.
And my coach is at the bottom of my kid is at the bottom of the batting order.
Yeah. Bottom of the order, plays in the outfield sparingly.
I mean, you got to look at it. Like, is your kid, you have to look at it from a biased opinion, which, first of all, is very hard for most of us. Is the kid good? Is my kid good? Like, do they belong at the bottom of the lineup? Like, are there people that play better? I think it depends on what league I'm in. What league am I in, Todd?
Let's say that you're playing on a select team.
A select team.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, which means I'm paying money, right? So it's no longer rec league where every kid gets equal playing time, right? That's the expectation that you have to go into a select league with.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer rec league, which means not every kid plays. Do I talk to the coach? No, I don't. And that's hard, especially since I'm paying this guy, right? Like, that's super hard.
Yeah.
But you have to have an honest evaluation of your kid. And if your kid is, if they're not hitting the ball well, and there's some better people that belong in the outfield. Again, this is easy for me to say, but to answer your question plainly, no, I would not talk to the coach. Okay. I would tell my kid, listen, let's if you're serious about this, if this is hurting your feelings, I have a girl, so probably it would hurt her feelings. Let's go to the batting cages. Like, let's put some work in if you want to get better.
Okay. Do you take that and go find a hitting coach and pay that hitting coach to make her better?
At 9 years old, no, I don't.
Okay. How about at 12?
At 12 years old,
as they get a little older.
Maybe at 12. Maybe so. Where we are in the Metroplex right now, we talked about America sports. We talked about Norway sports and how Norway doesn't specialize, early on.
Right.
We are where we currently are in America, right? So, I do want Taya to play all of the sports, but at the age of 12, more than likely she will have found the one she most enjoys. And so if that sport is baseball, if that's the sport that she's chosen that she enjoys, then I may consider, putting in some money for hitting lessons.
Yeah.
Though the Dean Parlin could do it, honestly. Honestly, Dean Parlin ain't spending no money on no hitting lessons.
Yeah.
He's going to do it himself.
Yeah.
But if the average parent, going back to that, if they're not, no, I'm not spending money on hitting lessons. We're gonna go to the batting cages and just work on some things.
Okay.
If they're 12 and that's their sport that they've chosen, that one that they're most involved in, then yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, that's a trap that people can fall into pretty quickly. Number one, for you to say, well, let me take an unbiased look at this. That's hard. Incredibly hard.
It's hard.
And the natural reaction is, well, my kid's better than that kid, or why isn't my kid, at least I'm paying this money, like you said, why isn't my kid getting off the bench? And there are teams out there like that. So, but the trap that you fall into is, okay, well, I need to get my kid better. And so a lot of dads take their kids out into the backyard and, hey, I'm not paying money. I can teach my kid how to hit. And then that goes sideways because the kid doesn't want to take instruction from dad.
Well, and that's crucial. Does the kid want to get better?
Right.
Period.
Right.
If they don't want to get better, like if they don't want to put the time in, like I'm not going to push Taya.
Right.
Like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
then we're just going to sit here and we're just going to ride it out.
Right.
Like, if you don't want to get better,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm not going to make Taya do anything.
Yeah.
Especially go outside, and potentially damage the relationship by throwing balls at her.
Right.
And wanting her to hit it,
Yeah. Yep. All right. Number 4. You're the parent of a 2nd grade basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other girls on the team is bullying your child during practices. You've said something to the coach already, but he seems disinterested in doing anything about it. What do you do with your child?
Man, that's so hard. So I've talked to the coach already.
Uh-huh.
He is not interested.
He is interested in winning games.
He's only interested in winning games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think a healthy conversation with my 2nd grader would have to happen, just in terms of like what is going on, what are the things that are being said, and then how can we respond?
Yeah.
We can talk about, there's 2 ways to approach it. We can talk about, turning the other cheek, or we can talk about confronting it head on, and making and allowing herself to be an advocate for herself. If all of those things haven't happened, and if I've told the coach and the coach still doesn't want to do anything about it, that's a great question. I'm not sure what I would do.
Do you ever entertain the possibility of removing her from the team?
It depends on the level of bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you?
I think it could get, like you're saying, I think it could get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, a red flag for me is if I take the time to go talk to a coach, not about X's and O's or strategy, because I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Not even about playing time. I'm not going to do that. But if I go to the coach and I approach that coach about my kid's well-being, and I get blown off, that's a red flag to me about the coach in general anyway.
True.
So would I entertain it? Potentially. Now, the last thing that I would ever do is encourage my kid that, hey, it's okay to quit anything.
Yeah, for sure. But this is different.
It's different. It's different when your child's well-being is involved.
Yeah.
Now, if it's just a kid that is calling, my daughter names, that's an excellent opportunity for my child and I to have a conversation about sticks and stones.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that a lot of this stuff you can have. It's an opportunity more than it is anything for you to have growth, for your child to have growth, both in your relationship with her and personally. So I would entertain it if it got to be bad enough. Okay, scenario number 5. You're a parent to a 10-year-old baseball player. He wants an elbow pad, an ankle pad, and a sliding glove. None of these items are required, but some of the other players are using them, and he doesn't want to look different. What is your conversation with your child?
Yeah. Well, we would talk about chores. And we would talk about, if he wants to get these things, then there's 2 ways to approach it. If he wants to get these things, then he has to earn them. Like, he has to go out and make some kind of money. He has to put some skin in the game, because mom and dad are not just going to dish out money for you to fit in with your friends. That would be the conversation at hand. But if he wants to earn them, then he's welcome to do that.
Okay.
But it needs to be on his own accord.
Okay. Does Taya have chores?
Yeah, she does. She helps me with her laundry. And she also helps us clean up after dinner.
Yeah.
She knows that it's her job to take the plates, put them in the dishwasher, clear the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see some of these kids. I wrote baseball in here because what the kids call it, drip.
Oh,
yeah. They walk up to the plate and they've got every kind of pad on that they've seen the major league players wear, and their sliding glove that they don't even slide headfirst into a base anyway.
They're not going to even get it dirty.
Right. But they've got all the things, right?
Yeah.
And the chain around the neck and all of that stuff. And again, with an opportunity to have a conversation, with my boys, it's, look, what are you there to do? Are you there to hit the ball and produce, or are you there to look the part?
I'm here to look good, Dad.
Exactly.
I'm here to look
Exactly.
good.
And so, it's just, again, one of those chances for you to sit down with your kiddos and say, okay, what are we doing here? But I love your answer about if they want it, they got to earn it.
Yeah, totally.
Love that.
Again, the Dean Parlin's not spending money on fruit.
You make your husband out to be cheap.
Well, he's a good steward of
He's
our,
a good
of
steward,
our
that's right,
finances.
yeah.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
I appreciate him.
Number 6, you are the parent of a 12-year-old soccer player. You are an experienced soccer player, and you see that the coach has very little knowledge of the game. The team is getting beat regularly, and practices are nothing more than chaotic scrimmages. Do you step in?
At what part of the season is it?
You make it up.
Okay.
What would be the difference?
Okay, so at the beginning of the season, I would ask the coach if he would like an assistant.
Okay.
If he does not want an assistant, then okay, all right. If it's the middle part of the season, I would still ask the coach if he would like an assistant.
Okay.
Because he's struggling, obviously.
Yeah.
Like if you say that the practice is chaos, then he also knows that it's not a good practice.
Yeah.
It's not something that he necessarily wants,
Right.
but maybe he doesn't know how to ask for help. So that's where I would go up to him. And again, we see this. We see this some in our leagues, right? Where a coach steps in because they are good-hearted and we need a coach.
Yeah.
They step in and they're just they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so we can pick out those coaches. They
Yeah.
have a great heart. They just don't. That's not their expertise.
Right.
So as a parent, if I have an expertise in soccer, which I don't, by the way, and I want to help, like if I want to offer my help, I'm more than happy to do that. It's his choice if he wants to take it. If he doesn't, then okay, then we'll have to go into it with an understanding of we're gonna work hard.
Yeah.
Regardless of how a practice is planned or a game is implemented, we're going to work hard. We're going to be good sports, and we're going to have a good attitude.
Yeah. In your experience, well, let me rephrase it. In my experience, parents are much more likely to complain than they are to offer their services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Which it can create some hard feelings with parents because they're like, man, this guy's terrible coaching my kiddo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm pretty busy. And so
Yeah.
I'll just keep coming out here at practice and complaining about
Yeah.
the way things are run.
Yeah.
And for a league administrator, that can be difficult because you just want to pull your hair out saying, man, I want volunteers.
Yeah.
And everybody just wants to complain about
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think also it's very important. Like if you are that parent that offers help, I think it's crucial in like how that conversation is presented.
the delivery.
The delivery
Yeah.
is crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
You're right
you don't
about
want to
that.
go at that head coach and say, hey, dude, you're doing a pretty terrible job. Obviously, you need my help. Right.
Yeah.
You want to go in very humbling. Hey, man, listen, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're out here with these kids and you're giving your time.
And we've had that. We've had that
yes,
happen.
for sure. So, but yeah, if you're good at a sport and your kids, this obviously is recreation ball.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Ask them if they want help for sure.
Yeah, and it can be different. I mean, I think in terms of say high school ball, right?
Yeah.
It like freshmen.
Oh,
where,
another one is junior high.
yeah.
Listen, if your kid is in junior high, I know for a fact junior high public school, those junior high coaches don't have a choice.
That's
to
what I was
coach.
going to say. Yeah.
They don't have a choice to coach
Right.
just the sport that they're interested in.
Yep.
If they're a junior high coach, their contract says they have to coach all 3 seasons. For girls, that's volleyball, that's basketball, and then it's usually either soccer or track.
Yeah.
They're not good at the sport,
Right.
but so don't expect them to be a good coach.
Yeah.
For all of those sports, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Or is that what you were going?
That's exactly where I was going with that. Yeah. Okay. Next one. You're now parenting a 12-year-old basketball player.
Okay.
12-year-old. He has practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He tells you he wants to go to church on Wednesday night. If he misses practice, the coach automatically has him sit out at least a quarter of the game that weekend. Your son loves basketball and wants to play in high school, but he also loves Wednesday night services. What do you tell him?
Well, first of all, on the front end, the way front end, I would have probably had a conversation with him beforehand, before I signed
With
up.
your son?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, with the coach.
Okay.
And gotten the information. Like, when do you practice?
Right.
Especially if I know that my son wants to go to church on a Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly that's priority. And I hope that I wouldn't be in that situation where my kid practices Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He has church on Wednesday. Now he has to miss. What do we do? I think on the front end, I'm hoping that some of those questions can be answered. And if that's the case, that you do have a team that practices on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can say, hey, you know what? This isn't the team for us because we have commitments on Wednesday. I'm sorry, but we just can't make it, and find another team.
So what if it is junior high? What if it is, hey, it's a junior high team, it's his school team, they practice on Wednesday nights? Does that change things?
Junior high, you're part of a team. You can't really help that at all. And if he misses practice on Wednesday, he has to sit out how much?
A quarter.
A quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're missing.
Okay.
We're missing.
Okay.
If the kid really wants to go to church,
Yeah,
right? And I want them to go to church. If his investment is at church, and you're only missing a quarter, I say, yeah. And I think too, just talking with the coach up front and say, hey, listen, man, like I hear you.
Yeah.
I understand that there's practices Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm sorry, we will not be here on Wednesday. He can, he's welcome to make that time up if he wants to play the full game, if that's a thing, if that's an option for you. If it's a quarter, half a quarter or a quarter?
A quarter.
Quarter.
But also having said that, like, it's rarely that black and white, right? More often than not, it's going to be a more subtle way of things, of going about it, where, hey, you're missing practice. How can I play you if you're not here one night a week for practice? And so then that results in less playing time. It may not be, hey, if you miss Wednesday night, you miss a quarter, but you start seeing your playing time go down, and your coach is like, if you want to play, you're talented, but you got to be here. And handling that as a parent can be difficult, because
no doubt.
Now you're trying to figure out which road to take.
So we've seen some of our parents, and just the rec league, like, say they're signed up for Girl Scouts and soccer.
Yeah.
They'll miss every other.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, that's a good option, but that's an option.
Right. What
would you do?
We've kind of handled this. Luckily, most of my son's teams, they don't practice on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't practice on Wednesdays at all, and we certainly didn't play on Sundays. I mean, that's changed.
Yeah.
Because now every baseball team out there is playing on Sundays in tournaments. And that's the rub with us is Sundays. And I think that we've talked about that extensively in our podcast. That's where my mind is kind of changing things now. But especially, like, you're talking about a rec league. Now we'll find a different team. And if everybody's practicing on Wednesday nights, then maybe we reevaluate what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Because if he's not into it, like, I'm not missing anything on Wednesday nights. Okay. Then we'll entertain it. But if he's really into it, then
Right.
Okay.
That's hard.
We're almost done. You're doing well.
Okay.
You're a parent of a young softball player. After yet another strikeout to end the game, she comes to the car in tears and says, I never want to play again. I'm quitting. How do you have a conversation with her? Or what does that look like?
Oh, this is where I'm so not emotional. And the fact that you put in there, she cries, just gives me the cringes.
Because you just get out of the car, close the door, and
I mean, forget the scenario. You had me at crying.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you.
Yeah, it's real tough. I mean, I probably would assure her that it's not the end of the world. that yes, she did strike out. I would affirm the fact that yes, that is not a good feeling, and that's not what we want. But that at bat is not going to define her as a person, and it's not going to define her in her next game. Like, she has the ability to change her mindset and to get back in there and fight.
That's a very mature answer. One in which I wish I would have been able to do that when I was put in that situation.
Well, to be sure, as soon as she starts crying, I'm asking Jesus for help right then.
Maybe I should have, because I didn't handle that well at all growing with any of
these are all scenarios that hasn't happened, mind you. Okay,
right.
Like, listeners, mind you,
right.
None of these have happened to me and my 6-year-old yet. So I may come at it in a very mature manner, but you throw tears in there, and I may end up running. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's inherent with parenting, that you're going to come to a point where your kids are going to look at you and go, I don't have an answer, and I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm going to cry.
I'll let her cry.
Yeah, yeah.
I've gotten better at that.
But, I was also raised that you don't do that. Like, you're not crying. Are you seriously crying? Like, knock that off. And that's really how I approached it. And it didn't go well. Because, my wife is like, that's not a good way to handle that, So in my mind, like, I need to make them tougher so that they can handle situations like this, and they, don't leave crying. But I've also come to understand the point that you're making, where they need to feel like, okay, this is a space where I can get this out.
Yeah.
Be done with it, and then recognize, to get perspective on, I've had those conversations. Like, you went 2 for 4 at the plate and had a strikeout today, and you're in the car upset about getting called out on a strike 3. Like, let's get some perspective on how your day went.
Yeah.
Those are hard conversations, but I think to be able to handle it maturely is harder than it seems.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bulk of this conversation, right? Like, that's kind of
Yes.
there's no there's no, I would say, black and white way to do it. I think it just all depends on your child and what they need.
Right. Agreed. Okay, 2 more real quickly. You're the parent of an 11-year-old football player. Your husband never misses a chance to critique your son's play. Every car ride home is a ticking time bomb. Your son is growing tired of the game because of the pressures that he feels. How do you handle that as a parent?
This would never happen, so this is hard.
Yeah. But it's happened to many, many people out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I would have a conversation with my husband to start out with.
Yeah.
And ask him, why is he so hard on our son?
Yeah.
Son. And, just to have, just ask him, like, what good is this doing?
Right.
Like, this is not growing your relationship with him. This is not growing our family's relationship together. This is only causing damage. And I need you to see that. It's very important for you to see that.
Yeah, that's good. I watched on the field a couple weeks ago, there was a coach, and he absolutely lost it on this kid. And I was like,
not in our league, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should have said that. No, not in our league. And this was in size, not on his team, but a team that they were playing. And the coach absolutely lost his mind on this kid. And I thought, if I was that kid's dad, like, you bet I'm in the middle of that, because you're not gonna basically dog cuss your son. And come to find out, it was his own kid. And I'm like, okay, well, then he feels like he can talk to his son like that. But that poor kid. Yeah. And that, anyway, that's rough.
That's hard.
Okay, last one. You are the parent of a high school athlete. She is gifted as a soccer player and is being recruited to play soccer in college. She tells you that she likes soccer, but she just doesn't want to play in college. She wants to focus on academics and a career path. You know she is talented enough to be successful in both areas in college, and you fear that she may end up regretting her decision long-term to not play.
Is she getting offered any money?
Yes.
How much?
So it's a financial decision.
I mean, you got to take all things into consideration.
Yeah.
You lost me at, I think I stopped listening at, she's really good.
Yeah.
And wants to play, but, or is good and has been offered a spot in college, but she doesn't want to play.
She's good enough to play in college, but she is thinking long term.
Yeah. This is hard because I'm competitive. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like I would have loved to play in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the right answer is, you have to look at the long term. And if she doesn't want to play in college, then she shouldn't play, regardless of how good she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you know that 5 years down the road, she's going to look back and go, I could have done that. And I would have a good experience if I had done that.
I mean, I would try to explain that to her.
Yeah.
I would make sure that she understood. I think that, the academics decision is a very mature one, 100%. But yeah, if she is really good, then I would try to make her see that. I think that we go to some college visits. I think that we would go to, a team practice and meet the coach and all those things. And then if she still is like, no, I don't want to do it, then okay, let's move on.
Right. Okay.
So
that's, that's it, by the way. A couple takeaways that I have from your answers. Number one,
the last one was hard.
I think they're all hard. I don't know that any of them you look at and go, oh yeah, that's an easy one. But my takeaways are, you have to be mature enough to make the right decisions for your kiddos
As a parent,
because they are very emotional in the way they handle things, and how they feel at 2:00 in the afternoon might not be how they feel at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so you really do have to make those mature decisions, which requires us to step back and gain perspective.
Yeah.
Rather than just
you can't
being
operate
emotional.
on their emotions. You can't respond to their emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other takeaway that I had, which is, I think the most important thing you said, and you said it right off the bat, was the decisions have to be for the child. And it's easy for me to say, oh, no, you're going to be a quarterback. And that's what we're going to make you. But what is best for your child?
Yeah.
And all of these questions and scenarios, I think you need to take a step back and say, and by the way, you brought it up too, like this is a communication piece between you and your spouse. Like we need to be on the same page about this.
Yeah.
I can't be telling my child one thing and my wife telling her something different. We need to be on the same page, and it has to be what's best for her, not what's best for us.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah. Thanks for the questions.
Well, that is episode 43. We've talked a lot about these issues individually. And now you have all the answers on how to be a parent to a young athlete.
Oh, yikes.
So you can take all of this and be perfect at it. No, like Katrina said earlier, we certainly don't judge. Even writing these scenarios, I'm like, I handled this one right, but I didn't handle that one well.
Yeah.
Some of these I've never been through either, but I've seen other families go through these. But just rest assured that no one expects you to get these exactly right. That's not how we're built. But we have community in each other, and a forum like this where we can talk about it. So let us hear from you. Check us out and comment. And if there's something that you think we missed, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
All right. You got anything else?
Nope. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
Man, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing us ramble about youth sports or other strangely interesting sports topics related to families, please go and like and subscribe to the show so that you can get regular updates when a new podcast is released. We'd also love to connect with you. Head on over to our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're under LC Sports and Recreation.
And if you're new to our podcast, go check out some of our previous episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's some good stuff on there. And pay attention because these come out pretty quickly, weekly, as a matter of fact. And you're going to learn a lot about what we have to say with regards to our league and how to win with the home team.